Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I'm your host, Addison Davis, here live in Dallas, Texas at the 68th Annual Conference of the Council of Great City Schools. And what a treat we have today from North Carolina, Winston-Salem, Forsyth County Schools, Tricia McManus. Trish, thank you so very much for being here.
Thanks, Addison.
Really appreciate it. You know what? And I'll start this out. I openly have to say, I'm sorry. And, I had Tricia, for those who are watching, listening, was transitioning out of Hillsborough County as I was transitioning into Hillsborough County. If I knew what I know now about your leadership, your focus, your speed, your acceleration, your knowledge for content, your vision for bringing the community in, because you brought in faith-based partners, local delegations, community members, chambers, all to be a part of something special in Hillsborough, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until you were gone. And I have to say, I wish that you were there with me. So a lot of your systems, we try to still keep in place. And I just want to thank you for that, for what you did in Hillsborough. It's not an easy deal.
Thank you. No.
Leading so many schools, and you had, a lot of the benefits that I had was because some of the systems you put in place. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. I had 30 great years there. So
30 years in Hillsborough County.
We didn't get to work together either. And I left.
You're probably like, I'm out of here, this dude. Whatever.
And I left just in time for the pandemic.
Perfect timing. So, in Hillsborough County, 30 years, that journey is so special to you. It meant so, it had been so cool to be able to start your career there, transition to lead the most challenging schools in the district. Honestly, they tried everything. They couldn't get it done, but you were dedicated and willing to do it. I mean, you rolled up your sleeves. We didn't get 8 hours from you every single day. We got 15, 16 hours from you. I know it because I know all the content work that you put in. So thank you. And then you get a chance to transition to North Carolina.
Yep.
So how's it been?
It's been great. It's been a whirlwind. As you know, I did not go there in the job of superintendent, in the role of superintendent. I went there as deputy because I was going to get to continue doing the work I loved in Hillsborough, which was transformation schools, principal pipeline. Nothing can get done without great leaders doing the work every day in school. So I was so excited about that work as deputy superintendent. Little did I know that
didn't last long, did it? I mean,
2 months. I think it was, I got there June 2020.
Yeah, congrats, you're the deputy. And by the way, guess what? You're going to be the next superintendent.
And that was in November. I became interim. But it's been great. It's an amazing school district, about 50,000 kids.
That's a big district.
51,000. Yeah. but it was about the fourth of the size of where I came from. And I do think that the lessons learned in a very large urban school district like Hillsborough prepared me.
I would say that wholeheartedly. And I think that the other side of it, as we move around, I moved from Jacksonville to Clay to Hillsborough. I became a better leader. I became a better superintendent, a better father, a better husband, whatever it may be. All those allowed me to listen, learn, and grow and take those. And I'm certain that Hillsborough primed you because you've seen some stuff, right? Good, bad, whatever it may be, and to be able to transition and do cool things in Carolina.
Absolutely.
And we talk about, a couple months as deputy, a couple months as interim, and they said, you know what? We know what we got here. We got a first round draft pick. We're gonna go to work. What does that tell you related to, the board believing in you to say, you know what? This is our horse. This is who we're going with.
It was very exciting. The fact that I don't have to interview and go through all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. I've been through that.
The interview was on the job, which is really great.
I think there's power in that.
Yeah, it's power. It wasn't just an interview that I was trying to sell myself. They saw it firsthand.
Yeah, pick me.
Yeah,
right?
they saw it firsthand. But I think that leading during the pandemic. And being able to kind of keep things moving in the right direction and try to, there was a lot of divisiveness during that time about decisions you were making about in school, out of school, masking, all of that. And I think that it was during that time where I tried to bring our community kind of together and stay focused on why we're there in the first place, that the board started to believe in my ability to lead. And so it was a smooth transition.
Refreshing. And, going into it, one thing I see, you are all over this community and through social media. I mean, like you live in this community.
I do.
I mean, talk about the power of what it means to be actively engaged, because you just don't show up to work. You are present at community events. You're all over this town.
Yeah, that is so important. I think your community, our community in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, want to be involved. They are very heavily invested in our public schools, and they did not always feel they had an opening to be part of the solution. And there's a lot of people. And so what they were doing, since they weren't part of the solution, is they were judging, because we've got, our results are not exactly where they need to be. And so I don't think we can do it alone. I think we need our partners. We need, not-for-profits, faith-based. Sure. We need our elected officials. We need government. I mean, we need everybody to be part of the solution. And so, I show up everywhere. I'm everywhere. If there's an event, I don't care where it's at.
I'm like, where's McManus at today? She's in the community. She's giving books out in the community.
But you know what? I love it. And I go to everything when I'm invited to something at schools. I show up if it's on the weekend, a performance. And the kids, the best part about the work is when I see kids. The other night I was conducting every high school band, and I was conducting them
what a cool
in one
experience.
Song. It's awesome.
Wow.
But to walk around and have them say, "Hi, Miss McManus," as with 50,000 students, I feel like that's what I love about my job.
Sense of belonging.
I love about it. Yeah. Sense of belonging.
We talk about systems and structures. Community involvement's a big part of it. But you're doing some really good things related to putting some instructional systems in place.
Yes.
Talk about some of those things because these aren't easy to put in place, right? I'm talking about instructional frameworks, areas of focus, right curriculum guides. These are hard things to say, hey, you know what? Trust in us. Yes. We got you. These are the resources we need to use.
Yes.
How have you been successful in that?
Yeah, I will say that we've got three main areas of focus that we are like in years 2 and 3 in each of these areas, and we call it our Future Ready Plan.
Okay.
And we adopted a Portrait of a Graduate, and so it's kind of grounded in these durable skills. And so our Future Ready Plan is honestly 3 easy things. It is deeper learning, which is about honestly that rigorous engagement in the classrooms, that the complex learning, students involved in the learning, like hands-on. It's learning, in my opinion, in the last few years has become a little bit more just overuse of technology in the Chromebook. Sure. And it's like that engaging. Kids have told us, I'm excited about the use of student voice in our district. Kids have told us what they need to feel a sense of belonging and to feel excited about learning. So deeper learning is bringing all that together. And we created a vision for learning and teaching in our district. That's guiding the work right now. That's guiding what should classroom instruction look like? What does instructional excellence look like in our school district? So that's where we are with that. Second thing is around behavior. It's our code of character, conduct, and support. Yeah. It's around use of social emotional learning and all the things that are restorative in nature, because we know that kids, they've got to feel a sense of belonging. Kicking them out and not helping them with behavior.
Thank you.
We need to do that. So that's what that is. And the third one is inclusionary practices. It's students with disabilities and students learning alongside their non-disabled peers. Those are our 3 areas of focus. I'm excited about our agenda. We're moving the needle. And so
if you do those 3 things, if your district would say, you know what? I got you on these 3 things, you will fly.
Yes.
I mean, inclusive practices, giving children a sense of hope through restorative practices and allow them to fail, succeed, be nurtured, be independent, and then having high quality, authentic engagement with high quality materials all day long. Spot on with that
Those
work.
are the 3 things, but there's a lot behind this. There's mindset shifts.
That's right.
Along
it's
with
hard
along
moving
with
from
the
a
skill.
current state to the desired state.
Yes.
Moving them is very difficult because it could be situational versus psychology. From a psychological perspective, getting them there, right? It's hard. You have that yo-yo of, okay, I'm angry about the change, but now I'm good with the change. Now here we go, ready to go. So it's hard to manage.
It is hard. And I think our main focus right now, and you were great about this, is not just support, because that's a given for me, but it's also that layer of accountability. So support and accountability. So we're going to do what we say we're doing.
Sure.
And my biggest message to our principals this year is 75% of change efforts fail or do not sustain because of execution, and so we are focused now on executing the plan and monitoring the metrics to make sure we're doing what we say we're going to do.
That's right.
And it's getting results. And so I learn every day, and my tenure has been about learning and getting better every year. And that's where we are now.
For those of you who are watching, I got to say to you, you're bored. They better hold on to you. When I blast this out, people are going to know what time it is. Tricia McManus does not play. Great work, great focus. You talked about a point of professional development, leadership development being a major key. And systems you put in Hillsborough, systems you put in Winston-Salem, Forsyth. How important is that to make sure that you grow the right leaders to be able to lead in this day? Because education is very different than it was 10, 15 years ago. It's very different than 5 years ago.
It is. Well, and one thing we can't do is always say, well, when I was a teacher, because that does not fly. And people are not going to do.
Those days are over.
Right. Those days are over. And so I will tell you that, I tell our principals, so the principal to me is the key lever for change in a district. Like we at central office may create the strategy, may create the what, but the implementation of that, as you know, happens in the school building every day. And that's where the magic happens. And so if you don't have great principals leading the charge, it doesn't matter what your strategy is. It's not happening for our end user, which is our kids. And so we are hyper focused on making sure we have great principals. And so our principal pipeline, just like in Hillsborough, is key to that, and making sure that we are recruiting and retaining great principals, that we are making sure that our talent pool is diverse, but that our leaders are doing the right work. I mean, we can't say this is what we're doing, and yet we turn around, walk into a school building, and instruction is not, improving, or the plans that we have set as a school district aren't being implemented. And that's about the building leader. And it's not just them on their own. I mean, it used to be like everything's about that principal. They can't do it alone. That job is so complex.
Yes, and
it's almost like one person can't do it. So that's why the leadership team and making sure they have the resources of a great team is just as important.
Absolutely. And, as you continue this journey and you look at trends of education, we see that absenteeism becomes a major issue in education. How are you addressing that?
And do you mean student or adult?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go. This is probably both. You're so right. So
student attendance. I mean, we've been talking a lot about chronic absenteeism. So student attendance, again, the 3 things I just described are going to impact attendance drastically. Because again, if I don't belong, if I don't feel a sense of belonging, if I'm walking into class and I don't need to be there, I could just learn it at home or on a computer. So all of those things impact attendance. And we've been doing a lot to elevate student voice and to listen to our students. And so I have a student advisory of about 60 high schoolers that I meet with.
It's a lot of kids.
It is. And I love them. Wow. And they give me the best.
Future soups.
They give
Future
me.
Actually,
one of them came up to me and said, no, this was at Winston-Salem State University the other day. I was at a meeting with them. and a student came up and said, I want to be a superintendent one day. What do I do? And I gave her my phone number and said, call me.
Yeah, shadow. That's right. Shadow.
I said, and I always tell people, do a great job in what you're doing. Like, be a great principal, be a great teacher, be a great assistant superintendent. Like, don't just keep focusing on the next job. Because to me, it's like, be great and get your story.
And then it takes
tell
care
your
of itself.
Story. Yeah.
That's right.
Because if you don't have results, if you don't have results if you don't have a story to tell, why should someone believe that you're going to do,
I agree.
But anyway, so basically attendance is an issue.
Yeah.
We have started to reduce our chronic absenteeism with students, but again, this is all encompassing.
Sure.
If you listen to kids, they tell you what they need. They want a little bit more freedoms within time. They don't want to be going class, 20-minute lunch. Like, they want some time where they can gather with kids. They want assemblies. They want field trips. They want hands-on learning. They want to have experiences that allow them to grow. And so we just need to listen to them. So we're listening to them. We do the panorama survey that actually helps us track sense of belonging.
Great survey.
That's our focus.
Great use of content.
That's our focus. And for adults, adult attendance is also key, because if your adults are always gone. And so, we are also have a wellness committee for adults to figure out how do we show teachers that they are valued? How do we make sure we build in time so teachers can plan more, because they don't have enough time to plan, and they've got to be with what we're expecting with the learning environment. They've got to have time to make it right.
Absolutely.
So I think and it's all about joy as well. Like, when you're happy with what you do, you show up.
You know what?
You show up.
I always question why Gallup had this question in their survey: do you have a best friend at work? And I'm always like, no, I'm here to work. But legitimately, that question mattered. It took me late in my career to understand it's one of the greatest questions they could ask.
Yeah.
Do you have a best friend? And because it created the joy you speak about, being able to, people want to come to work.
Yes.
I've never met anyone that doesn't want to do well.
Yes.
But they want to have a joy to have people that want to do the same thing and accomplish the same goal.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So for superintendents that are aspiring soups, what kind of words of wisdom would you give them?
Well, so I'll tell you what I've told. I've had some of my cabinet members become superintendents.
Okay, all right, congrats.
And
congrats.
one of my, one that became one of the first ones that became, she was really wanting to be a superintendent. And so she asked me, like, what is it, do I need to be in a different position? She was in charge of HR. She was in charge of, so human resources and the principal pipeline as well. And so what I told her is, again, what I just said a minute ago, do innovate in that role, do great things and get results. I said, so think about this. There are teacher shortages all over the country. Right. If you've got a strategy and it's helping our district, and now you go interview for a superintendency and you're asked about, how are you going to get teachers? You've got the strategy. You've got the results to tell. I said, so what you're doing in that role, you don't need to be in a deputy. You don't need to be, people will always say, you need to do this. And I just don't agree with that.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I think you do a great job. You love what you do, and you stay focused on your work and making what you're doing the best ever, and get results. And the next step will come. And I also think people need to be able to be their authentic self in leadership. And if you can't be your authentic self in a school district, then it's not the one for you. So shop around. Because you don't want to
pick the right place.
Pick the right place. You've got to be able to be your authentic self and be a leader. You've got to live out your core values and leadership. But again, I'm talking about, I'm someone that didn't go to Winston to be the superintendent. Yes. So I'm not sure I'm the best advice giver. So what I will say
listen, you are so good. They got picked to be the superintendent.
Well, I just think people have to be, you have to love what you do. Yeah. Like being a superintendent is about being in service of others. It is not about being in this position. That's
right. Role. It's not about the position, right?
Yeah. So I don't need.
It can be here today, gone tomorrow, right?
So don't worry about the fancy parking spot. Don't worry about just be authentic and be there for kids.
That's right.
And be in service of others, and then that's what superintendents need to be, in my opinion.
I love it. So graceful. Listen, this school board is so blessed and great, to have you.
Thank you.
It's, I thank you for spending the time with me.
Thank you.
I had opportunity to work with your other half in Hillsborough County.
Yes.
He's a good man. He's a hard worker, and it just runs to both of you. So great tag team. And I'll say this, I continue to watch you, and I'll be able to live through you because I'm kind of semi-retired now, whatever that may be, but I'm proud of the work you're doing. You're doing such great work in your school district.
Thank you.
Until next time, you've heard it from one of the greatest leaders out there, Tricia McManus.
Thank
Look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Addison Davis, your host with In Depth with Davis, Superintendents Unplugged.